although I miss her horribly. I really ache for her, and I think that's part of where my suicidal instinct comes from.
Attention all rock lovers! If you're a fan of legendary music and unforgettable performances, you won't want to miss our exploration of 35 iconic rock and roll stars who are gone but never forgotten. 35. Freddie Mercury.
As long as we don't take it too seriously. Earlier on, we used to take it very seriously.
Freddie Mercury, with his impressive 4-octave voice range and flamboyant costumes, is arguably the greatest rock showman of all time. As the lead singer and songwriter for Queen, his theatrics profoundly influenced rock music. Despite rumors circulating for years, Mercury remained extremely private about his personal life. It wasn't until November 23, 1991, that he confirmed his HIV diagnosis. Tragically, less than 24 hours later, he passed away at the age of 45 from bronchial pneumonia resulting from AIDS. 34. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan, a multi-talented musician known for his skills with the guitar, was legendary in the music industry. Not only was he the frontman of his own group, Double Trouble, but he also showcased his blues guitar prowess on David Bowie's Let's Dance album. Vaughan's career was tragically cut short when, after finishing a performance opening for Eric Clapton, the helicopter he and 3 members of Clapton's entourage were on crashed into a ski slope in Wisconsin. This incident claimed the lives of all on board. Despite his untimely death at the age of 35, Vaughan remains one of the most influential guitarists of all time. 33. Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin's journey from a child gospel singer in Detroit to the Queen of Soul is nothing short of remarkable. Over 7 decades, Franklin built a career that left an indelible mark on music history. With her powerful voice and masterful piano skills, she inspired generations of music lovers. Her numerous accolades include the Presidential Medal of Freedom and 18 Grammy Awards. 32. David Cassidy. David Cassidy's journey into stardom began with his role as Keith Partridge on the hit TV show The Partridge Family from 1970 to 1974. His portrayal of the charming teen heartthrob catapulted him to fame and earned him a dedicated fan base. Despite his success on screen, Cassidy's passion for music was undeniable. He ventured into recording albums and performing, showcasing his talent beyond acting. However, behind the scenes, Cassidy grappled with alcohol addiction, which became a significant struggle in his later years. 31. Jeff Beck. The legendary guitarist Jeff Beck left an indelible mark on the world of rock music. With a career spanning decades, Beck's influence was immeasurable. Tragically, on January 10th, the music world mourned his passing at the age of 78. Beck's battle with bacterial meningitis, diagnosed in late 2022, took a rapid and devastating toll, claiming his life just weeks later. Beck's contributions to rock music were monumental. As a member of the groundbreaking band the Yardbirds, alongside Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page, he helped shape the early landscape of rock. His own band, the Jeff Beck Group, showcased his extraordinary talent and creativity. Over the years, Beck released an impressive 14 studio albums and collaborated with renowned musicians like Rod Stewart, Ronnie Wood, and Ozzy Osbourne. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, Beck's legacy as a pioneer of rock music will continue to resonate for generations to come. His impact on the industry, coupled with his enduring friendships with icons like Johnny Depp, ensures that his memory will live on in the hearts of music lovers worldwide. 30. David Crosby. The music world mourned the loss of rock icon David Crosby at the age of 81. As a founding member of the Byrds and a vital part of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Sometimes Young, Crosby's influence on the landscape of rock music is immeasurable. Crosby and his cohorts left an indelible mark with their performance at Woodstock, where they captured the spirit of a generation with their transcendent music. Hits like Wooden Ships, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, and Southern Cross cemented their place in rock history. Despite his musical success, Crosby faced numerous health challenges in his later years. Battling addiction, diabetes, obesity, and liver problems, he underwent a controversial liver transplant in 1994. 29. Tina Turner. The passing of Tina Turner, an unparalleled icon in the music industry, marked the end of an era at the age of 83. Turner's journey to fame began alongside her husband Ike Turner, first as part of Ike Turner's Kings of Rhythm, and later as a dynamic duo in the Ike and Tina Turner Revue. Their collaboration produced chart toppers like Proud Mary, I Wanna Take You Higher, and River Deep Mountain High, solidifying Turner's reputation as one of music's most electrifying performers. Her solo career soared to even greater heights, earning her 12 Grammy Awards and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, first in 1991 for her work with Ike Turner, and later in 2021 as a solo artist. Turner's impact extended beyond accolades, as she held the Guinness World Record for the largest paying audience for a solo performer, captivating 180,000 fans during a historic 1988 concert. 28. Tom Petty.
Going, it's a running joke. And so I think at that point,
Tom Petty, the unmistakable voice behind the Heartbreakers, left an indelible mark on rock music over 4 decades. Forming the band in 1976, Petty led the Heartbreakers through a storied career that included countless hits and memorable performances. Sadly, Petty passed away shortly after wrapping up a summer tour commemorating the band's 40th anniversary, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate with fans worldwide. The recent tribute album, For Real, For Tom, featuring covers of Petty's iconic tunes by music luminaries like Willie Nelson and Jacob Dylan, serves as a testament to Petty's enduring influence and the profound impact of his music on generations of listeners. 27. George Tickner. A pivotal figure in Journey's early years, rhythm guitarist George Tickner passed away on July 5th, 2023, at the age of 76. Although Tickner's tenure with the band was brief, his contributions left an indelible mark on Journey's formative period. While Tickner departed after the release of their debut album, his songwriting prowess shaped the band's sound, earning writing credits on several tracks across their first 3 records. Songs like Of a Lifetime, Topaz, and Mystery Mountain showcased Tickner's musical talent and laid the foundation for Journey's future success. 26. Chuck Berry. Widely hailed as the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry's musical legacy is etched in the annals of music history. Renowned for his electrifying guitar playing, dynamic stage presence, and timeless hits, Berry's influence reverberates across generations. Classics like Roll Over Beethoven, 1956, Johnny Be Good, and Sweet Little 16, both 1958, exemplify Berry's unparalleled skill as a songwriter and performer. 25. George Michael. George Michael's meteoric rise to fame began with the British pop duo Wham!, where he achieved widespread success at a remarkably young age. Their infectious 1984 hit Wake Me Up Before You Go Go catapulted Michael to stardom, setting the stage for his illustrious solo career. Winning a Grammy for his uplifting album Faith, 1987, Michael solidified his status as a solo artist par excellence. His timeless holiday classic Last Christmas, released in 1984, remains a perennial favorite during the festive season, ensuring Michael's enduring presence in the hearts of music lovers everywhere. 24. Ricky Nelson. Ricky Nelson, whose popularity rivaled that of Elvis Presley, rose to fame through his role in his parents' sitcom, The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. Leveraging the show's platform, Nelson launched a successful music career marked by numerous chart-topping hits. His single, Poor Little Fool, made history as the very first #1 hit on Billboard's Top 100, foreshadowing Nelson's enduring influence on pop music. Despite a temporary decline in his career, Nelson staged a remarkable comeback in 1985, embarking on a tour and acquiring a private plane for travel. Tragically, his life was cut short when the plane, plagued by mechanical issues, crash-landed due to a fire caused by a faulty heater. Nelson and 6 other passengers, including his girlfriend, lost their lives in the accident. 23. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye's unparalleled vocal talent and songwriting prowess helped define the Motown sound and establish him as one of the label's most successful recording artists. Hits like I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Ain't No Mountain High Enough propelled Gaye to superstardom, earning him widespread acclaim and admiration. Sadly, his personal life was haunted by a contentious relationship with his abusive father, depression, and cocaine addiction, all of which led to 3 suicide attempts. He was home with his parents when he intervened in an argument between them, attacking his father. His father retrieved a handgun that Gaye had bought him for protection and shot his son twice, killing him 1 day before his 45th birthday. His family feels this was Gaye's final suicide attempt, as well as punishment for his abusive father, who received a suspended sentence and probation for voluntary manslaughter. 22. Gary Rossington. Gary Rossington, the last remaining original member of Lynyrd Skynyrd, passed away on March 5th at the age of 71. While the exact cause of death was not specified, Rossington had been dealing with health issues in recent years, marking the end of an era for Southern rock enthusiasts. As a founding member of Lynyrd Skynyrd, Rossington played a pivotal role in shaping the band's signature sound. His enduring legacy is intertwined with the tragic events of 1977, when a plane crash claimed the lives of several band members, including singer Ronnie Van Zant and guitarist Steve Gaines. Remarkably, Rossington survived both this devastating incident and a car accident a year earlier, underscoring his resilience in the face of adversity. Beyond his contributions to Lynyrd Skynyrd, Rossington collaborated with fellow bandmate Alan Collins in the Rossington Collins Band, producing a body of work that showcased their musical prowess. His artistic journey continued with his wife Dale Krantz Rossington, with whom he recorded albums under the Rossington Band moniker. 21. Prince. Prince Rogers Nelson, an unparalleled music genius, left an indelible mark on the world with his extraordinary talent and groundbreaking artistry. A virtuoso on multiple instruments, Prince defied genre boundaries, seamlessly blending R&B, rock, pop, and funk to create a sound uniquely his own. Throughout his illustrious career, Prince challenged societal norms and pushed the boundaries of artistic expression, confronting issues of race, gender, and sexuality with a fearless determination. His catalog of timeless hits, including Little Red Corvette, 1983, When Doves Cry, 1984, and Sign o' the Times, 1987, remains a testament to his unparalleled creativity and enduring influence on music. 20. Karen Carpenter.
Making a hit act, I think it's, luck, it's timing, it's...
Known for her incredible vocals, Carpenter is also admired as one of the few female and one of the most talented drummers of all time. She and her brother Richard have several hit songs on the Billboard Hot 100, including We've Only Just Begun and They Long to Be Close to You. Carpenter was plagued with body image issues and began dieting at a young age. By 1975, she weighed 91 pounds. At a time when eating disorders weren't widely discussed, she sought help, and by 1983 had gained some weight and seemed on the road to recovery. Sadly, she collapsed in her parents' home and died shortly after arriving at the hospital due to the damage to her heart from anorexia nervosa. Carpenter was only 32 years old. She is credited with bringing public awareness to eating disorders. 19. Andy Rourke. The music world has lost a great talent as the Smiths bassist Andy Rourke died May 19, 2023 at the age of 59. Over the course of his career, Rourke became one of the most respected players in alt-rock, building a name for himself while playing as a member of the Smiths, which he joined on invite from childhood friend Johnny Marr. After the Smiths split, Rourke and Joyce found a new home, providing the rhythm section for Sinead O'Connor. Rourke also continued his association with Morrissey, appearing on a number of the singer's solo releases as well. Post-Smiths, Rourke made the most of his opportunities, playing with The Pretenders, Killing Joke, Badly Drawn Boy, Aziz Ibrahim, Ian Brown, and former Oasis guitarist Paul Bonehead Arthurs. He also formed the band Freebase with Stone Roses Monty and New Order's Peter Hook. 18. Tony Bennett. Legendary crooner Tony Bennett died Friday, July 21st, 2023 at the age of 96 in New York City. The musician was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2016, but continued to record and perform, often accompanied by Lady Gaga through 2021. The iconic vocalist was born Anthony Dominic Benedetto on August 3, 1926, later changing his name to Tony Bennett for his professional singing career. After serving in World War II, Bennett was assigned to an informal special services band that would entertain the American forces, and he continued his singing career after he was discharged from the Army in 1946. By 1950, he caught his first big break, signing to Columbia Records after recording a demo of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That led to a career that included over 70 albums and such classic standards as Because of You, Rags to Riches, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, One for My Baby, Steppin' Out with My Baby, and Fly Me to the Moon. Bennett enjoyed a career resurgence in the 90s after taking part in MTV's popular MTV Unplugged series, which introduced him to a new generation of fans and yielded the Grammys Album of the Year. The 2000s brought about his duets, an American classic album, partnering him with Paul McCartney, Elton John, Bono, Elvis Costello, Sting, George Michael, Barbra Streisand, Christina Aguilera, Celine Dion, John Legend, and more. And in recent years, he recorded full albums with Lady Gaga and Diane Krall. 17. Sinead O'Connor. 80s and 90s alt-rock superstar Sinead O'Connor died at the age of 56. O'Connor, an iconic singer perhaps most visible in the 90s, was well known for her angelic voice and shaved head. Her cover of Prince's Nothing Compares to You made her a household name. Standout albums included 1987's The Lion and the Cobra, 1990's I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, and 1992's Am I Not Your Girl. She recorded 10 albums that featured such fan-favorite songs as The Emperor's New Clothes, The Last Day of Our Acquaintance, Mandinka, and Success Has Made a Failure of Our Home. 16. Randy Meisner. Randy Meisner, co-founding bassist of rock legends The Eagles, died at age 77 as confirmed by the band. The Eagles acknowledged that Meisner died due to complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. As the original bass player for the pioneering country rock group Paco, Randy was at the forefront of the musical revolution that began in Los Angeles in the late 1960s. In 1971, Randy, along with Glenn Frey, Don Henley, and Bernie Leadon, formed the Eagles and contributed to the band's albums Eagles, Desperado, On the Border, One of These Nights, and Hotel California. He was inducted with the Eagles into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998. 15. Robbie Robertson. Robbie Robertson, singer-guitarist for The Band, died at the age of 80. The Band, who started off playing as the backing band for Ronnie Hawkins, later gained greater recognition in the 60s, serving as the backing band for Bob Dylan. They eventually ventured out on their own, changing their name to The Band after leaving Dylan, and had a celebrated catalog of music that kept them going into the mid-70s. Album highlights include music from Big Pink, The Band, and Stage Fright. But with Robertson growing tired of touring and having started a family, the group decided to end their career in 1976. Their all-star farewell concert, dubbed The Last Waltz, was captured by director Martin Scorsese and became one of the best-known music films of all time. That partnership with Scorsese carried over to more film projects for Robertson in the years to come. Robertson was also behind the 2019 documentary Once Were Brothers that told the story of the band. Robertson also ventured out with a solo career that yielded 6 studio albums, starting with 1987's self-titled debut and most recently included 2019's Cinematic. The musician was inducted into Canada's Juno Hall of Fame in 1989, and he joined the band with a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 1994. 14. Bernie Marsden. Guitar great Bernie Marsden died at the age of 72. He was primarily known for co-writing and playing on some of Whitesnake's biggest hits. Before joining Whitesnake, Marsden played in several bands such as UFO, Cozy Powell's Hammer, Babe Ruth, and a few others before joining Deep Purple members John Lord and Ian Pace's new band with singer Tony Ashton called Pace Ashton Lord. Eventually, Lord and Pace joined Marsden in Whitesnake. Marsden was in Whitesnake from its formation in 1978 until 1982. Thus, he played on their first 5 albums, 1978's Trouble, 1979's Love Hunter, 1980's Ready and Willing, 1981's Come and Get It, and 1982's Saints and Sinners. He co-wrote some of the group's biggest songs with frontman David Coverdale, including Fool for Your Loving, Here I Go Again, Walking in the Shadow of the Blues, and many others. After Whitesnake, Marsden went on to form the bands Alaska, the Moody Marsden Band, and a few others, all of which he released albums with, as well as a plethora of solo albums. 13. David Bowie. An icon of 20th century popular music, Bowie was rarely predictable and often remarkable, beginning in the late 1960s with Space Oddity, 1969, and continuing right up until his death. Bowie released his final album, Black Star, 2016, on his 69th birthday, 2 days before he passed away. 12. Pete Brown. English poet, musician, songwriter, and film writer Pete Brown, who co-wrote several of Cream's biggest songs, has died at age 82. Brown began his artistic career as a teenage poet. In fact, he eventually became a major part of the 1960s Liverpool beat poetry scene, and he eventually performed at places such as the Morden Tower and Royal Albert Hall, amidst partnering with German artist Michael Horowitz, influential folk guitarist Davy Graham, and the New Departures group. Before long, he co-founded the first real poetry band with bassist Binky McKenzie, drummer Laurie Allen, gong, percussionist Pete Bailey, and most famously guitarist John McLaughlin, Miles Davis, Mahavishnu Orchestra. Over the last few decades, Brown also spearheaded his own groups, including his Battered Ornaments, Flying Tigers, and Peblokto, with whom he cumulatively put out a handful of albums. In the late 1970s, he started writing film scripts and scores too, and launched his own label, Interrossiter. He also collaborated further with Peblokto bandmate Phil Ryan, started his own film production company, Brown Waters, and issued several printed and auditory collections of poetry. 11. Cass Elliot. Elliot made a name for herself as one-fourth of the folk rock group The Mamas and the Papas, whose signature songs California Dreamin' and Monday Monday helped define a generation. Later, she had a promising solo career, and in 1974 had a successful 2-week show at the London Palladium. A few days after her last appearance, she died in her sleep at the age of 32. Rumors circulated for years that she had choked on a sandwich. Elliot had struggled with her weight throughout her short life. However, this was reportedly due to an offhand comment an attending doctor made to the press. There was a sandwich in her room, but no food in her windpipe. Elliot died of heart failure. 10. Jimmy Buffett. Singer-songwriter Jimmy Buffett died after a battle with Merkel cell skin cancer, which he'd been fighting for 4 years. He was 76. Buffett was best known for performing such songs as Margaritaville, Come Monday, and Cheeseburger in Paradise, with his Coral Reefer Band for an avid fan base of parrot heads. 9. Gary Wright. Singer-songwriter Gary Wright passed away on Monday, September 4th, 2023, in Palos Verdes, California, at the age of 80. The singer's son, Justin Wright, confirmed the death. Wright had been diagnosed with Parkinson's and Lewy body dementia in recent years. Justin Wright revealed that the singer's family and loved ones were by his side at the time of his death. His early musical output came with the groups The New York Times and a group called Art, who eventually changed their name to Spooky Tooth upon Wright's addition to the band. While a member of the band, he appeared on 3 albums as the group's singer and keyboardist. They released a cover of the band's The Weight and the singles Sunshine Help Me and Feelin' Bad. But by 1970, the group was considering a change in direction, and Wright opted for a solo career. 8. Steve Harwell. Steve Harwell, frontman for 90s alt-rock superstars Smash Mouth, died at the age of 56. Harwell, who rose to prominence with Smash Mouth in the late 90s thanks to the group's hits such as All Star and Walkin' on the Sun, died from liver failure at his home in Boise, Idaho, as confirmed by the band's manager Robert Hayes, according to the New York Times. It was reported September 3rd that Harwell had entered hospice. Harwell started his musical pursuits as a rapper in the band Freedom of Speech before changing course and opting for a career in rock music, forming Smash Mouth in 1994. He retired from performing in 2021, having appeared on 7 studio albums that included the aforementioned All Star and Walkin' on the Sun, as well as standouts Can't Get Enough of You Baby, Why Can't We Be Friends, Then the Morning Comes, and I'm a Believer. 7. Steve Riley. Longtime LA Guns drummer Steve Riley died at the age of 67. Steve had been battling a severe case of pneumonia for several weeks, and on Tuesday, October 24th, succumbed to the illness, the drummer's family revealed. Riley actually played in several name bands throughout the years, but gained most of his notoriety from his time with LA Guns. He first joined the band in 1987 and remained through 1992. After his dismissal, he returned to the group in 1995. The band famously splintered with 2 factions featuring band alumni. Initially, he was part of a group that included Phil Lewis, but when Lewis's LA Guns folded and he reunited with Tracy Guns, Riley then sought to continue his own version of LA Guns, with legal action taking place between the 2 sides. Eventually, a settlement was reached in 2021 where Riley could continue by using the Riley's LA Guns name. His other works throughout the years included a start in the classic rock band Steppenwolf in 1979, followed by a stint with Keel and another with Wasp, before landing in LA Guns right as the group was starting to make their mark. 6. Whitney Houston. From singing in her church choir in Newark, New Jersey as a child, to becoming one of the best-selling musicians of all time, Houston had a vocal talent and range that was one of a kind. Her catalog of #1 songs includes I Wanna Dance with Somebody, 1987, and I Will Always Love You, 1992. 5. Donna Summer. The Queen of Disco, born LaDonna Adrian Gaines, was the first artist to have 3 consecutive double albums reach #1 on the charts. Her songs I Feel Love, 1977, Last Dance, 1978, and Hot Stuff, 1979, still get people up and moving. What I aspire to in my life, truly, is to be loving, she said before her death. I don't always achieve that, but that's my aspiration. 4. Shane MacGowan. Shane MacGowan, longtime frontman for the Pogues, died November 30th, 2023, at the age of 65. The musician had been hospitalized earlier in the year with viral encephalitis, but the official cause of death was listed as pneumonia. The Pogues recorded 5 albums with MacGowan beginning in 1984, brilliantly combining traditional Irish music with punk rock. He was fired in the early 90s during a ferocious bout with alcoholism, but not before the Pogues' duet with Kirsty MacColl on Fairy Tale in New York had become a timeless classic. The single reached #1 on the Irish charts, #2 in the UK, and the top 10 in Norway and New Zealand. 3. Anthony Topham. A founding member of the British rock band The Yardbirds, Anthony Topham passed on January 23, 2023. He was 75 years old. Topham started the band in 1963, but left a few months after because his parents didn't want him to quit school. He was replaced in the group by Eric Clapton, and the Yardbirds went on to be the breeding ground for a couple other legendary guitarists too, notably Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page. Topham went on to become a successful session musician, working with members of Fleetwood Mac, including Peter Green and Christine McVie, Mark Bolan, and more. During the 70s, he joined the Subud spiritual movement, which is when he adopted the name Sanderson Rosjeed. Topham had been suffering from dementia for a few years prior to his death. 2. Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon, the drummer who co-wrote Derek and the Dominoes' Layla and was convicted of murdering his mother in the 80s, died at the age of 77. Although Gordon is best known as the drummer for Derek and the Dominoes and Traffic, he was an extremely sought-after drummer throughout much of the 1960s and 70s. Throughout his career, he played on releases by the Everly Brothers, the Beach Boys, Eric Clapton, Alice Cooper, George Harrison, John Lennon, Cher, Joan Baez, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Steely Dan, and many more. But by the late 70s, a combination of mental health and addiction issues started to take a toll on his well-being. After years of hearing his mother's voice, which he claimed told him to kill her, he showed up at her door one day in June of 1983, hit her with a hammer repeatedly, and then stabbed her in the chest with a knife. Gordon was charged with second-degree murder and sentenced to 16 years to life in prison. 1. B.B. King. The poor boy who lived in a sharecropper's shack grew up to become a legendary guitarist and the true king of American blues. The Thrill Is Gone, the title of his 1969 hit, was a note left on his website after he passed away. His countless fans agree. Thanks for tuning in to our tribute to rock legends. If you enjoyed this video, don't stop here. Check out our other content for more music history and behind-the-scenes stories. Keep rockin', and we'll see you next time.